Hey, it's Jen. I'm a life coach for Strong Because Coaching, and I'm here to get you set up for the holidays with some really, really good boundaries. Because amazing as the holidays are, sometimes we find that we start to dread them just a little bit because of the drama that goes on with family. So, a lot of people come to me saying, "Look, I set boundaries, I told them what I wanted, and they didn't listen." And I want to just clarify that's not what boundaries are. A lot of times we think boundaries are, I told them how to act so that I wouldn't be upset, and they did it anyway, and then we're surprised when they don't act how we wanted. That's not what boundaries are. That's actually more of what I call an emotional rule book, and I'll get back to that in just a little while. But boundaries are actually deciding what we're going to protect ourselves from, what we're going to expose ourselves to. And what this does is it allows us to manage ourselves without trying to pressure someone else to act a certain way or think a certain way or bully them or use guilt or use anger to try to change them so that we'll feel better. This is you having the ability to feel better all by yourself, because boundaries are a you decision. They actually have a lot less to do with other people than you think. You don't need someone else to cooperate in order to have good boundaries. You don't even need to be angry to set good boundaries. You can be totally loving and happy to do it. And you don't even need to tell them about your boundaries in order to have good ones. It may or may not even be necessary. This is where you communicate to you that you matter. But let's face it, other people's choices do affect us. And the fact is that people get to choose how they're going to think, how they're going to act, and how they're going to feel no matter what. That's just a fact of life. It's reality. And let's not waste and exhaust our energy and spend our time trying to fight against that reality that people really do get to choose how they think, feel, and act, regardless of what we think about it. So let's get back to the emotional rule book, which is our rules for you act this way and then I'll feel this way. Or don't do that and then I'll feel this. And kind of expecting other people to play by it. And we kind of think that our rules are no-brainers. And when someone else doesn't go by our rule book, sometimes we feel a bit upset. Like, why wouldn't you do that? Because of course it's going to make me angry. And sometimes we try to convince them that our rule book is the most valid rule book out there. And when they're not, we go and convert allies and try to gather our forces to reinforce the fact that other people believe that my rule book is valid and so you need to change yours. But really, we all have emotional rule books. They're all valid, and we all get to manage our own emotional life based on our own rules for how other people act and how we feel about it. But emotional independence is where we get to choose how we think, how we act, and how we feel. That's just nature. It's like a driver's license and a car. And we get to choose where we go in that. If we want to end up in Happy Town, we get to manage our own thoughts to get there. If we want to be offended, that's ours too. But we don't have to say they're driving me crazy and realize we just handed over the keys to them. What are they doing in the driver's seat? If we ended up at angry, crazy, offended, mad, we drove ourselves there, and we have the ability to take the keys and drive somewhere else if that's where we want to be. That's emotional independence. So if you don't like how they're acting, you get to choose how you act in response. So that may sound like I'll finish this conversation when you're not trying to diagnose me during it. It's I'll be there when everyone's sober. It may be I'll talk politics as long as it doesn't get insulting. After that, you probably just have to finish the discussion without me. So a lot of times we're thinking, what if it hurts their feelings? What if they stop coming over? What if they think I'm a mean person? So if you're exposing yourself to treatment and pretending it's okay, basically lying, is that actually kind? Like, think about that for just a second. If you're doing something to manipulate someone else's thoughts, feelings, and actions, and that's the purpose behind it, is that actually kind? Is that the person that you really want to be? Make your boundaries based on the person that you really want to show up as, not as a reaction to what someone else is doing, because sometimes they make reckless choices. And let's face it, you're the one that you're going to spend every single holiday with. Are you happy with who you are? You get to set your own boundaries. Now, if you want to stay tuned, on Friday, I'll do a Facebook Live about how to have a conversation like this with a loved one if you feel like you need one. Or you can give me a call at the number at the end of this video, and let's just chat about how you can use that in your life. I can help you get there.